Since na-discuss na natin yung definite integrals, kung ano ba yung mga techniques natin kung paano kinukuha yung limit of integration as well as yung Riemann sums, ngayon naman, alamin natin kung paano natin kinukuha yung value ng c. Alam naman natin na if we have an indefinite integral, ang magiging sagot natin is the antiderivative and then plus the constant of integration. So in this case, if we have a particular solution for the problem, we could say na yung ating magiging expression is f of x plus the constant. So itong constant na to, pwede siyang 4, 5, 7, 9.6. So pag sinabi natin particular solution, meron na tayong value ng ating constant of integration. So hindi na siya ngayon c. Now, to solve for this, we have to specify our initial conditions. So, kaya lagi silang tandem, initial conditions and particular solutions. So, from the initial condition, we will be able to obtain our particular solution. Let's make this portion ln x. So, medyo may mali dito eh. Gawin natin siyang plus x raised to negative 2. So, gawin natin itong portion na to is plus x raised to negative 2. So, hopefully ay, mag-guess nyo siya kasi we need to express that antiderivative. So, pag hinanap natin antiderivative to expression na to, so, solve natin, no? Find the particular solution given that f of 3 is equal to 5. So, remember, this is a capital F. So, it denotes the antiderivative of that function, of this function. And then, kapag sinubstitute mo yung 3 dun sa antiderivative nun, the answer should be 5. So, with this expression, hanapin natin ang antiderivative. So, for this, we have x to the 4th over 4. And this one is minus x raised to negative 2 plus 1. So, that is negative 1. Kaya, x raised to negative 1 na to, no? And then plus c. So, upon substitution to the equation dito, if we have x is equal to 3, so magiging 3 lang to, 3 raised to 4 over 4 minus 1/3 plus c. So, you evaluate for the value of c and then you'll be able to get this negative 179 over 12. Now, if you rewrite your expression, so kopyahin mo lang ulit itong sagot dito sa expression na to, and then instead of writing c, you write the new value of your constant of integration. So, ganun siya ginagawa yung ating initial conditions and particular solutions. Okay, so yun lang yung very quick discussion regarding this, and let's try doing some examples. Okay, so sabi dito, find the particular solution of the integrated equation if the integrated equation is equal to 4 when 7 is substituted to x. So we can simply say na if we have f of 7, that is equal to 4. So what we have to do here is to find our antiderivative. Now remember, this one, kung kailangan natin siyang hanapan ng antiderivative, we know quite well na kailangan natin itong mag-long division, no? Kasi kung factorable to x plus 1, pwede sana tayo mag-cancel out. Pero since hindi naman siya pwedeng i-factor out, then we do long division. So, siguro dito na lang. Okay, so basically, yung ating integrand would be x minus 4 and then minus 1 minus negative 4, I think. This should be this should be negative 4, so magiging negative 1 minus negative, so that becomes negative 1 plus 4, which gives you positive 3. So that's plus 3 over x plus 1, okay, dx. So this is your new integrand, okay? And then let's try performing our integration. So the antiderivative of the first term would be x squared over 2 minus 4x plus 3 ln of x plus 1. Okay? Now, if you try to substitute yung, plus c. Okay, so this is the indefinite integral of this expression, and then if you try to substitute the value of 7, the answer should be 4. So that is 7 squared over 2 minus 4 times 7 plus 3 ln of 7 plus 1 plus c is equal to 4. So therefore, you can now find the value of c. Now, you just using your calculator, you can determine the value of c. Now, your c is equal to 15 over 2 minus 3 ln of 8. Now you can just use this c, or you can express this in decimal form. So that answer would be equal to around 1.26. So approximately equal lang to naman. 1.2617. Okay? So rewriting your particular solution, so this should be written in terms of plus 15 over 2 minus 3 ln of 8. Okay? So this is your final expression for this problem, because it asks us about the particular solution. So remember, pag particular solution, wala na tayong c, kundi the exact value of c in this equation. Pero for us to be able to determine the particular solution, we should have the initial condition. So yun lang yung pwedeng magpa-determine sa atin. So I think that's all for this problem. Let's have naman yung ating second one. Now for B, sabi dito, the distance traveled by a sage student walking is given by the differential equation. So by the way, we call this differential equation yung ating mga expression na given dito, no? Kasi if you use your Lagrange notation, usually pwede natin siya sabihin na differential equation na siya. Now, we have time in seconds and distance in meters. So, itong t dito, it means seconds, and then yung s of t, which is the antiderivative of the velocity. So, expected natin na distance yon. Alam natin yung sa diff-cal na. Pag nag-differentiate tayo ng velocity, magiging, ng distance, magiging velocity siya. So, therefore, if you take the antiderivative of the velocity, you should be getting your distance. Now, the question is, or what we have to do here is to find the particular solution. If after 3 seconds, so pagkatapos daw ng 3 segundo, yung student ay nakapag-travel na ng 2 meters. Okay, so first of all is that we need to find the antiderivative of this expression. And wala naman siguro ng mali dito sa antiderivative nito kasi napakadali naman. So, instead of using yung expression na to, gawin na natin s of t. Since yun daw yung antiderivative nun eh. So, s of t is equal to, this one is 3t squared over 2. Okay? And then, minus e raised to negative t. Pero since this negative, this should be multiplied to negative 1. So, that becomes positive e raised to negative t. And then, of course, plus 2t. Now, if the student has traveled 3 seconds, so that means na from time frame of 0, the duration should have been 0. From 0 to 3, so that is simply 3 seconds. So, if we have s of 3, that is equal to 2 meters. So, therefore, ito yung ating magiging initial condition. So, with this, we have 3 and 3 squared over 2 plus e raised to negative 3 plus 2 times, which is equal to 2. Okay, so sorry, I forgot to add your c here. So we have plus c. Dito na lang. Okay, so yun, and then what is the value of your c? So that is just using your calculator, you can determine the value of c. So that is negative 35 over 2 minus e raised to negative 3. So this is your c, and therefore your answer should be reported as 3t squared over 2 plus e raised to negative t plus 2t minus 35 over 2 minus e raised to negative 3. Okay, so this is your final answer for this problem. And again, you can always express that in terms of decimal form. It's just that mas preferred ko lang yung pinaka-eksaktong sagot. Okay, so let's move forward na sa letter C. Okay. So, baka magtataka ba't ko binubura lagi kasi kailangan ko scroll down tong screen. Yung halimbawa, pag hindi ko siya scroll down, pag hindi ko siya binura, hindi kasi naka-overlay kasi siya dun sa screen. So, mabablock yung ating view, kaya kailangan kong burahin. So, anyway, let's move forward sa ating letter C. Now, an evergreen nursery usually sells a certain type of shrub after 6 years of growth and shaping. The growth rate during those 6 years is approximated by, so ito yon, dh with respect to dt is equal to 1.5t plus 5. So, ganito lang ibig sabihin nun, if you have a function that is expressed in terms of t years, then if you try to differentiate that expression, then that should be your derivative in terms of time. So, yung t natin is time in years, and then h yung height in centimeters. The seedlings are 12 cm tall when planted. Find the height after t years and how tall are the shrubs when they are sown. Again, the first step is to find the antiderivative, and in this case, I'll be multiplying both sides muna by the denominator. Kasi we have to make this a single, we have to multiply the variable of integration dito sa ating integrand. So that is dh is equal to 1.5t plus 5 dt. Now, you can just integrate this kasi this one will be also integrated, pero this is the height itself na pag in-integrate mo. So you can just use h here. And then parang ganito na yun sa differential equations natin. Usually, we integrate them separately. Pero whenever you encounter this problem and then meron kayong expression na nakaganto, para siyang kung matatanda yung related rates yung expression niya, no? You have to separate that by incorporating yung variable of integration doon sa mismong variable niya. Since this one is t, kailangan kong papuntahin itong t doon sa expression na yun. So, I can do that by multiplying both sides to dt. So, anyway, pwede natin actually makancel yan pag nag-multiply tayo ng dt. Though the expression is not really fraction, no? Pero the idea is the same. If you multiply this by the change, then that will be cancelled out. Anyway, so let's proceed with integration. So that is 1.5 t squared over 2. Okay? And then plus 5t. And then this is plus c. Now we know quite well na since the seedlings are planted 12 cm, so itong height nila would be 12 pero yung ating time would be 0 kasi starting tayo sa 0 year. So if you have h of t which is equal to 12, that is h of 0 is equal to 12. So remember, 0 tayo nag-start kasi dun natin siya pinalant sa 0 year na yan. So with this, if we set this equal to 0, then therefore c is actually equal to 12 kasi magzi-0 lang to lahat, correct? And then this h will be 12. So parang meron siyang 12 is equal to 0 plus c. So therefore c is equal to 12. Now, find the height after t years. So the height would be this expression. So h at any t years would be equal to 1.5 t squared over 2 plus 5t plus 12. So this is your height after t years. Kasi gagawin mo lang naman is find your c and then substitute mo to the integral to obtain the particular solution. Now, how tall are the shrubs when they are sold? Now, sabi dito sa first sentence ng problem, sinesell daw natin siya after 6 years. So, if t is equal to 6, what height could that trees be? No. So with this, we compute for h of 6, that is 6 years. This is equal to 1.5 times 6 squared over 2. I'm using this equation plus 5 times 6. And then of course, you have to add your 12. So hindi ka na magkakaroon ng c dito kasi alam natin na this is your particular solution. So you have to incorporate your constant of integration in that case. So whenever you solve for the second step in this case, kapag alam mo na yung particular solution, you can determine exactly the value of your height. Or at any problem na meron kayong dependent variable. So pwede mo nang mahanap lahat yung exact value once you're able to obtain your value of the constant of integration. Pero syempre, para mahanap yun, kailangan mo ng initial condition. So solving for this, the value is equal to 69. Okay. So we have 69. The unit is in this so centimeter. Okay. So the answer for this problem is 69 cm. Let's move forward na sa next item. So I think we have here the last two problems. So this application, particular solution and initial condition. So this is very helpful in determining yung mga rate of expression for the decays, especially yung mga natira nating amount. So pwede rin natin talaga siyang i-apply sa ating chemistry. Now, this is your expression, and then again, uranium-238 decays at a rate expressed in this form. So C is the amount in grams and T is in the time in years. Calculate the amount left after 2 years when initially there were 300 grams of uranium-238. Now remember, this is the expression for your decay. So in this case, I have DC I need to express this in terms of this is equal to negative 6t squared minus et just to make sure na nakamultiply ang ating variable of integration dun sa ating integrand. Kasi kung hindi, hindi natin siya ma-integrate. Okay? And we integrate both sides. So this becomes c. And this is equal to negative 6t cubed over 3. So, di ba ganun lang naman siya? And then minus e raised to t. Now, you might be thinking, bakit dito lang ako sa side na ito naglalagay ng c? Bakit di dito? Now, remember, kahit pa maglagay ako dyan ng c, and then i-transpose ko yung c dun sa, or let's say c1 to and then c2. And then i-transpose ko tong c1 dito. So, magkakaroon lang parang c2 minus c1. But then again, you can lump them up into a single constant kasi alam naman natin na they both are constant. So, yun yung reason dun. Kaya isang c na lang yung need mong ilagay dyan. Now, this is your expression. Make sure na malaki yung isang c. Okay? And then, sabi dito, kailangan natin hanapin yung amount left after 2 years. Pero initially, we have 300 grams. So, therefore, if we have t is equal to 0, then yung ating c is equal to 300 grams, meaning buo siya, no? So, hindi 2 years ang ating gagamitin, kundi 0 kasi initial natin is 300 grams. So, we have 300 that is equal to negative 6 times 0 cubed over 3 minus e raised to 0 plus c. So, therefore, this is 300. This cancels out and this is 1. So, that is your value for this is actually equal to 301. Your c is 301. So, yung iba dito lagi nagkakamali, laging nasi-0 din to, no? So, remember, e raised to 0 is actually equal to 1. And then, this one's negative, so magiging positive siya upon transposing. Now, your particular solution would be c is equal to, gawin natin itong negative 2. So, negative 2t cubed minus e raised to t plus 301. So, this is your particular solution. Now, sabi dito, calculate the amount left after 2 years. Okay? So, after 2 years, so we have c is equal to negative 2 times 2 cubed minus e raised to 2 plus 301. So, therefore, c is equal to, so now this case, mas preferred mo yung decimal point kasi, or you're talking about the exact amount. So, i-decimal point nyo na yung inyong sagot dito. So, that's 277.6109. So, this is your final answer. Now, if you're asked, what is the amount decayed? Parang ganon. What is the amount decayed during this process? So, instead of saying that is 277.6109, your answer should be around 22.39 grams. So, don't forget the unit, no? So, yung 22.39 grams na yan is obtained from 300 minus this value. Kasi, this C is the amount left na expression for the amount left for any time t. So, if you're just asked what is the amount of that uranium decayed or what is the amount of the uranium consumed or yung mga ganun na nawala, so basically, it's not your C kasi ito yung natira but that is your initial condition, initial amount minus the final amount. So, yun lang naman, di ba? Aware naman kayo dun sa ganun sa chemistry. Anyway, so, baka hanapin nyo yung ln2 kasi may half-life. So, remember, this expression is not in that form kasi ito mismo yung equation natin eh. So, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yun kasi we're given with a very specific equation in this case. Okay, and I think we're done with the last item for letter E. So, na-double lang yan, no? So, for letter E, sabi dito, siguro let us illustrate this, no? A ball is thrown vertically upward from a height of 5 feet. So, imagine if you have a building and then meron ditong 5 feet. So, malagyan natin ng tao dito, so, kunwari. So, 5 feet yan and then yung kamay niya. So, dito siya itinapon, no? Pero, so upward niya tinapon. So, from this 5 feet and then, pataas yung ball natin. So, ganyan. Okay? So, ito yung ball. Okay? Malaki pa sa ulo niya. So, anyway, so yon, the velocity here is 80 feet per second. Now, how high will the ball go? Take the acceleration due to gravity in English unit, that is a of t is equal to negative 32 feet per second. Now, syempre, na-neglect natin ang air resistance. Actually, kahit wala ng building dito, no? So, basta may 5 feet siya, kahit wala na to, no? How high will the ball go? So, yun yung question sa atin. Now, applying the concept of integration, and we need this distance para mahanap yung highest distance nitong ball after, throwing upward. So, we start with the velocity function. So, we know quite well na yung ating velocity function is actually equal to the initial velocity, okay, and then plus your acceleration due to gravity. So, wala nang time. So, ganyan lang. So, this is your function of velocity, no? Kasi at any time t, this should be your final velocity, and that's the thing that we need for this expression. Kasi if we integrate this, then we'll be able to obtain the expression for our distance. So, with this, I'll be integrating this expression, okay, so that I'll be able to obtain the value of your distance. So again, this one, actually this is the expression in terms of time. So you can rewrite this in terms of dv over dt, that is equal to vo plus at, which makes sense if you have dv is equal to vo plus at dt. Okay, and then you can integrate this so that you'll be able to obtain the distance. Now the distance would be the antiderivative of this expression, so that is vot and then plus 1/2 at squared. And remember, diba, ito yung distance. Kung alam nyo sa physics, this one is your general distance formula for any vehicle or any object that is moving with an acceleration that is usually constant naman. Ito yung general formula, and then of course, we add the constant of integration, so that is plus c. Lagyan natin ng values ito, no? So, d is equal to vo, which is at plus, itong a natin is actually negative kasi pababa siya, so that is minus, that is 32, so divide by 2, that becomes 16 t squared, and then plus c. Now, how do we determine this c? Kasi, kulang yung ating equation nito, and then we need to find this exactly your value of d in this case. So, kung initially we have 5 feet, alam naman natin na yung distance niya before it starts, so we have 5 feet already. So, pwedeng sabihin natin na 80 times 0 would be 0, minus 16t squared would be 0, and then plus c. So, c is equal to 5. So, remember, ito yung ating value ng ating c kasi initially we have 5 feet. So, we have d of 0 is equal to 5 feet. So, meron na tayong c. So, we can just rewrite the particular solution for the distance, that is 80t minus 16t squared plus 5 feet. Now, how about yung distance? Kasi ang tinatanong is not this particular solution, but how high will this ball go? So, alam naman natin na if we want to find that particular distance, we also need to find the particular time when it reaches its highest point. And remember, if you have this expression, the highest distance is obtained when the final velocity is equal to 0. So if you'll be taking this expression, v of t, or the final velocity is equal to vo plus at, you can equate this to 0, and you'll be able to determine the value of t, which is the highest at the time where it reaches the highest point. So in this case, if I have this value, then therefore vo ko, which is at, minus yung acceleration, which is 32 feet per second. So, t, this will be equal to 0. And therefore, if you try to compute for t, in this case, we have t is equal to negative 80 over negative 32. So, that is 80 over 32. So, this is your time in seconds kung kailan ma-reach mo yung highest point upon throwing vertically upward. So, in this case, we use that to find your value of d. So, d max is equal to 80 times t, which is 80 over 32, minus 16 times 80 over 32 squared, plus 5. So therefore, your maximum distance upon throwing vertically upward would be, of course, this is reference to the ground kasi we're actually using yung may ginamit tayong c, which is the constant of integration. So that is 105 feet. Okay, so the answer is 105 feet. So remember, yung 5 natin, that was obtained from the constant of integration na nag-start tayo 5 feet above the ground. So, for example, kung nag-throw ka as in adjacent sa ground yung iyong kamay, so this wouldn't have this 5 feet. So, ano lang yan, 100. Magzi-zero yung ating C. But then again, we have to incorporate that kasi it's included in the problem and it is said that it has started from 5 feet. Okay, so I hope may natutunan kayo dito when we use this in physics. Now, you can alternately solve this using differential equation. I mean diffcal. So, pwedeng approach nyo dyan is you start with this instead of the velocity. You start with this, no? And then try to differentiate from this, no? Just remember yung ating pattern, you generate the equation if it's not given, pero if it's given, then gamitin mo na lang siya and make sure na yung ating variable of integration is multiplied to the variables na kailangan mo siyang integrate. And then upon integration, you add the constant of integration and then use the initial condition to obtain the particular solution. And then upon finding the particular solution, you substitute the new value of your t as mentioned in the problem, kung ano yung hinahanap mo dito. So, ganun lang yung general steps natin lagi. Okay? So, I think this ends your preliminary discussions. This is the pre-application of your integral calculus and hopefully naintindihan nyo siya kasi hindi naman siya sobrang complicated. Whenever you have questions, you can always ask me through Messenger or any platform that we have. Basta I'll be conducting a consultation next week. So hopefully hopefully maka-attend yung marami sa inyo, no? And I'm hoping na you will try to ask those questions na naguguluhan kayo, no? Kasi we're very free to I'm very free to answer all of those. Pero syempre, if you're kind of shy kasi may iba doon nahiya talaga, we'll be using this siguro we'll be using this site. So, nasabi ko na ata to before, pero kung hindi pa kayo nakapagawa ng account, you use this. With this, pwedeng ma-hide kung sino yung nagtatanong kasi baka nahiya kayo. Pero if hindi naman, then you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, so that's it for the preliminary discussions and I'll see you on the next discussions.